This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Melinda. Welcome to our presentation on Sicily and Malta. Today, Rose Boudreau, a native of Sicily, as well as a travel advisor at Travel Central, will be presenting. We have Ashley with Insight Vacations, and I'm Melinda Bourgeois, owner of Travel Central. Travel Central has been in the New Orleans area for 32 years. We are a team of highly qualified and trained travel advisors whose only goal is to provide you a seamless, stress-free vacation from planning process to your return home. Today, we'll be giving out a $25 gift card. So you see, we have our Facebook page right there. Just jump on that page, give a quick comment on what you can't wait to see in Sicily or Malta, and you could be the lucky winner of a $25 gift card. Today, we will uncover the legacy of the culturally rich island Sicily, its ancient history, its incredible food, its beautiful churches, and then we'll continue on to Malta with its temples, sunny beaches, and warm-hearted people. As we explore these islands, please don't hesitate to ask questions. Please use the chat feature. All questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. And now I'll turn over to Rose, who will go over this vacation to Sicily and Malta in depth. Again, thank you for joining us.
Hi, I'm Rose Boudreau. And let me just start by saying, we do recommend a pre-night before starting the trip, because due to the airline delays and misconnections, we just always recommend that. But with that being said, let me just start the presentation. We will arrive in Catania and be met by transfers to your hotel. The first day will be on your own. Maybe you can go to the Duomo. Here's a picture of the Duomo. It is worth a visit, or maybe the fish market, or maybe to St. Agatha's Church. They have a big cupola with an observation deck where you can see the whole city. Tonight, we will dine together and meet the tour guide and your fellow companions, and that's usually about 6 p.m. You also can visit the Palazzo di Alfante, originally called the Senatorial Palace, located north side of the Duomo. So if you do go to the Duomo, this is right next to it, so you could kind of kill two birds with one stone. It was built to replace the one that was destroyed by the earthquake in 1693. The next day, we're going to go to ancient Saragossa, which is a 2,700-year-old city that played a key role in ancient times. It's a maze of narrow streets lined with palaces and sprawled all over the island. Now, a little tidbit of information. There's no doubt that St. Paul brought Christianity to Sicily, even though he stayed in Saragossa just 3 days before going on to Reggio Calabria, which is near Naples, and then on to Rome, where he was eventually beheaded. Continuing on southeast corner of Sicily to Ragusa. Ragusa is a wonderful historical town located on a hilltop and famous for its beautiful views. Next day, we go on to Agrigento to explore the historical Valley of the Temples. Everyone always talks about ruins in Greece, but these are even better than Greece, especially the Temple of Concordia and then the cliff top Temple of Juno, which overlooks the sea. You can tell by this picture how well preserved they are. Then on to Palermo. This is where you will experience real Sicilian life. Visit a traditional Sicilian market with outstanding fruits and vegetables. The fruits are nothing like ours. They're so sweet, especially the little tiny pears. I don't see them in the picture, but I'm sure they're there. They are so sweet that sometimes they're used as a dessert. Next day, on to Monreale. We will visit the Cathedral of Monreale, which is regarded as the most beautiful of the Norman churches in the entire whole of Sicily. The mosaics were made with 22-karat pure gold. And if you know me, you know I love gold. Tonight, we're going to have a dine-around evening. What that means is Insight gives you a voucher that you can use anywhere on the list that they provide, that you could eat anywhere on the list. If you really just don't know what you want, the tour guide will help you and give you ideas of where to eat. Now, the next day, on to Arici, which is a charming hill-type walled-in city. The first time I went to Arici, I was so afraid I was on the floorboard of the bus because it is a very high and steep drive. Also, when I went, it was a very cloudy day, and when I reached the top, we were actually in the clouds. You can see by the picture how high it is. The streets are very old cobblestone in very good condition, but very old. It was so eerie between being in the clouds and the very old cobblestone streets that I felt like Dracula was going to come from around the corner. On the way back to Palermo, we stop at a farm near Trapani and sample the freshest olive oil produced on the island and savor a tasting of Sicilian wine, followed by a light lunch of delicious local produce. Back to Palermo, and the evening is on your own. Next day, on to Cefalù, a quaint little fishing village. It is my favorite, but I'm a little partial because I was born there, right on the Mediterranean. The impressive cathedral was erected in fulfillment of a vow made by the Norman King Roger II and was started in 1161. If you feel adventurous, do a hike up to the La Rocca, which means the rock. Right here, I don't know if you see my pointer, this is La Rocca. It is a flat top mountain that you could see in the picture behind the cathedral. When you reach the top, you will see the Temple of Diana, which was built over a cistern because of the worship of the waters, and was built in the 9th to 10th AD. And St. Anne's Church, that was built in prehistoric times, which was built in the 5th to the 4th BC. Also, you'll be able to overlook the whole city. I think it's worth going, but remember that the pathway is not all good. Some of the pathway is just rocks. On to Taormina with a free day to maybe take an optional experience through the vineyards of Mount Etna, Europe's largest volcano, and maybe do a wine tasting. The next day, your tour guide will take you to visit the Greek Amphitheatre, which is set on a cliff, and as you can see in the picture, it's open to the sky. Later, stroll around the tiny courtyard of Palazzo Caravaggio, a medieval palace. Stroll around Corso Umberto, a beautiful pedestrian area with lovely shops, wonderful restaurants, or maybe just sit at a cafe with a cappuccino and people watch. Tonight we'll have dinner freshly prepared, farm to table, accompanied with Sicilian wine. Next, I'd like to talk about the hotels. There's 4 types of hotels in Sicily: old, modern, traditional, and seaside. And I think we have them all on this trip. The next day, we fly from Catania to Malta. It's just a short flight, about an hour long. Tonight in Malta, we'll have a beautiful welcome dinner with wine. This is the hotel in Malta. It's in Salima, and it's a waterfront hotel where you're going to have dinner tonight. Oh. Next day, we venture out to Valencia, which is the capital of Malta. There is much to do and see in Valencia, with tons of palazzos, museums, cathedrals, piazzas, and gardens to wine and explore the history. Then on to the Barrakka Gardens. These gardens are the highest point in Valencia and date back to 1661, when it was a private garden for the knights. And then on to impressive St. John's Cathedral, designed in the Baroque fashion. I think this is a gorgeous church. Continue on to a pretty fishing village and wander along the waterfront or watch the traditional Maltese fishing boats in the crystal blue water. Today for lunch, we will dine at Capo Mulini on fresh seafood that has been just plucked out of the ocean. After lunch, we can stroll around the local area or maybe head back to Valencia to do the National Museum of Archaeology, which includes the Ionic carved figurine of the Sleeping Lady. Next day, you have a free day in Salima. Maybe go to the rooftop terrace of your seafront hotel, or perhaps take a relaxing stroll along the seascape. If you're feeling more active, why not take an optional experience with lunch on Gozo Island? The Calypso cave that is found on the island is said to be the one Homer wrote about in the Odyssey. So as you can see from this presentation, there's lots of diversity in Sicily and Italy. So now I will turn it over to Ashley so she can tell you a little more about Insight Vacations.
Ashley did not make it. Okay, it looks like Ashley had a little challenge and she did not make our presentation, but I will go ahead and share with you about Insight Vacations. I have done several vacations with them. They are a guided, hosted, premium tour operator. The greatest thing they have is they have customized coaches. Instead of having 53 seats like we can see on this picture, they only have 40. The coach is not smaller, the seats are not unused. They actually have just made more leg room in their seat so that a very tall person will be very comfortable. Of course, all their coaches are in and accessible.
Hey Melinda, it's Ashley. I'm here. I was chatting in the comment box. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay, Ashley, I'll back up and let you go ahead and go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. That's quite all right. You did a wonderful job. I think everything you said was perfect. I know you're such a wonderful advocate for Insight Vacations, and we appreciate y'all so much. And I loved the photos and the presentation thus far, and love the fact that you're staying in all the different types of hotels, especially seaside. I just cannot wait to hear about everyone's experience in Sicily and Malta. But Melinda is exactly right, everybody. The Inside motor coaches are vastly different from what you'll find on some of the competing tour brands, and that is because you have a vast amount of legroom. A traditional coach, as you can see here from this image, has about 53 seats. And Insight Vacations has removed about 13 of those. So we only have 40 seats in our motor coaches. And more often than not, you get a full window to yourself. It's a picture window. It goes all the way up to the ceiling of that coach. And you've got as much legroom as you would have on a first class flight. So definitely for my husband, who's over 6'2", this is something that he finds of great importance, and I know all of you will as well. On the next slide, Melinda had advanced to, we were talking a little bit about the peace of mind promise, and that is the travel corporation, who is Insight Vacations' parent company. That is their promise to all of our passengers and guests that we are going to do right by you, and that we are a financially viable company who is debt-free. A lot of people don't know that the Travel Corporation is a family-owned company and they're privately held. So in times like today, even though they're under no legal obligation to release financial data, on ttc.com/comfort, and I'll repeat that and I'll type it in the chat as well. That's ttc.com/comfort. You can read the peace of mind promise for yourselves, in which it is stated that the company has over $300 million in fixed, unencumbered, equitable assets at our disposal. So that means you can feel safe and confident to secure your funding with us for an upcoming trip. And of course, you would only book with Travel Central because they are the absolute best. And that's all from me, Melinda.
Well, stay around, Ashley, because I'd like your thoughts on anything else you'd like to add to the presentation.
Sure.
In Malta, but we will talk specifically about this trip that we have planned. It's a group leaving from New Orleans. We actually have a local chef. His name is Chef Andrea, who him and his wife will be joining us on board the motor coach. The price for all of the things that you just saw, so it's a 10-night vacation, is $3,950 per person. Of course, if you can't go in September of 2021, there are multiple trips available through Insight Vacations, and of course, my Sicilian over here, Rosa Terracina, it was her married name, will be happy to help you put together anything that you need for Sicily. The really cool thing right now, though, is if you pay in full by December 17th, this is an Insight promotion, you actually will save about $400. It's a 10% discount. The other really neat thing, again, it's been a crazy year in 2020, so everyone's trying to work together to help travelers get on the road again for 2021. There's a no risk $99 deposit, as it will hold your vacation, and basically it is risk-free for 30 days. After 30 days, it is non-refundable. But like any insurance, you can cover that when you buy insurance for your vacation. And then the other really nice thing currently that Insight Vacation is doing, and that's what you have to understand in the travel industry, they are being very flexible right now, so take advantage of the flexibility. Currently, airlines are not charging domestic change fees. That's a major change in the travel industry. I don't think it will stay once travel picks back up, so take advantage of the flexibility. Currently, if you book anything for 2021, you can change your booking up to 30 days prior with no penalties from Insight. That does not mean you won't have penalties from other vendors like the airlines, but there'll be no penalties added. You can just change it to another trip. We do at Travel Central want to make sure that everyone who goes on vacations has the best vacation possible. Our only goal is to really share our expertise and share places that we think are wonderful. So coming up, we have Hawaii. We also have one on Japan, Holland and Belgium, Alaska, and the Mediterranean. If you go to our Facebook page or to our website, all of these are listed, the dates and times, and you can register on Eventbrite as well. And we thank you for joining us.
Well, let me just say this.
Okay, and Rose has a few more comments before you leave.
Okay, if anyone is interested, we do have a group going on this trip September 17th to the 27th, 2021. And like Melinda said, the price for a double is $39.50 per person. That is based on 2 people in the room. And the single is $38.20. I'm not sorry, I made a mistake. It's $48.20. The price does not include the international flight, but it does include the inter-Europe flight from Catania to Malta. And I'll pass it back to Melinda.
Well, we do thank everyone for coming. Again, if you have any questions, please give us a call here at Travel Central. Our phone number's on then, as well as you should have our email address. So we thank you for coming, and again, join us in 2 weeks for Hawaii.
Thanks, everyone.